We live in a world of instant gratification, the right now attitude, the pleasure in this moment attitude. It's really important to look at what's happening. Buddha spoke about this principle and repeatedly advised his followers to notice the cause and effect of every action and phenomena, which is to see clearly what they were getting from their actions. And this is going to give you the same insight as well. The insight that most of his followers had was they were looking for happiness in all the wrong places. You can notice this in our daily behaviors, in our daily life. Most of our actions are inclined towards pleasure and to avoid pain. Although pain may not be such a bad thing at that moment, maybe it's causing a little bit of discomfort, a little bit of pain, which might lead to a long-term happiness, a long-term pleasure. Now, for example, work. It's painful to work, but we work today, but we do it anyways. Why? Because the reward that we reap is very high in the future. This is also a very sacrificial idea, which is to sacrifice something of value in the present to gain something of a higher value, of a bigger value in the future. Now, but we are so conditioned to avoid pain, aversion, even that little pain for that momentary pleasure. Our entire behavior and pattern is engineered this way, and we are looking for happiness in the wrong places. And at the end of it, what happens? We feel unhappy, empty, there's a void, unfulfilled life. Now, Buddha points out that we tend to lose our way like this, whole time seeking and looking for happiness. Perhaps this observation of his was the basis for his radical statement on suffering and the causes of suffering. Very revolutionary insight. What others call happiness, Buddha calls it suffering, and what others call suffering, the Buddha calls it happiness. It's a paradox, but remember, this doesn't apply to everything in life. We have to have a certain sense of self-awareness to really grasp this revolutionary idea. Now, what he implies is we mistake excitement for happiness. So what is his observation about authentic happiness, or even suffering for that matter? The more people indulge in sensual gratifications, pleasures, the more their craving for sensual pleasures increases, and the more we are burned by the fire of the sensual pleasures. Are you able to see this? Although we get a certain sense of enjoyment or satisfaction in that moment, enjoying those sensual pleasures, but it leads to dependence and craving for more and more. For example, the best example here is the consumer culture, which sets us a trap for people creating this pattern. Another example, actually, if you get hooked to the hot smoke of a cigarette going down your throat, giving you a temporary relief from the stress that you're experiencing at the moment, or perhaps overthinking, or maybe just trying to numb yourself, and that's it, you are hooked, and you look for the same pleasure more and more, thinking and believing it's giving you pleasure. In reality, it's not. Now, do you see this? So the whole idea here is not to condemn sensual pleasures. You know, it sounds a bit masochist, but that's another extreme. The idea here is just to be aware of them, at the same time enjoying life to the fullest, fully engaging without coming into the trap of craving and dependence, knowing exactly what gives you happiness. I suppose this gives us a big insight into authentic happiness and to avoid pain and suffering. to live a life qualitatively and not to be in a trap of deceptive happiness. And if you really grasp this point, you'll understand that a lot of things that you have, a lot of things that you're actually chasing after, thinking that it's going to make you feel better or it's going to make you feel happy, you're going to just drop all that. You'll still chase, but your quality of chase will be different. And that's very important. You got to do the things for the love of it and not because that's going to make you feel happy. It's very beautiful if you really grasp this.